Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee with Craig, where we talk about firearms, firearms policy, firearms in politics, culture, media, you name it. We're talking about it right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends can know exactly where the conversation is taking place. Also want to encourage you, if you are not a member of the Firearms Policy Coalition, you need to become a member today. We are the nation's, in my opinion, most aggressive, the purest Second Amendment civil rights advocacy group. We are fighting in the courts. We are fighting in the legislatures. We're fighting in the media for you and for the fundamental right to keep and bear arms. But folks, we cannot do it on our own. We need you. We need your help. We need your support. It's real simple. All you got to do is follow the join link in the description to this video, and bam, you are there. You can become a member. I always like to say, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Don't be part of the problem. Become a member of FPC today. And if you are a member of FPC, or well, quite frankly, even if you're not a member of FPC yet, there's another way in which you can support the Firearms Policy Coalition, and that is by going to fpcgear.com. That's fpcgear.com. It is the place to get all of your Pro 2A swag. That's right. Even for these hot times in the summer, we've got tank tops for you. We got t-shirts. We have hoodies. Folks, we have it all. All very cool comments and, once again, ways in which to express your support for the Second Amendment. Now, folks, the best part about it is every dollar that you spend goes right back into the fight for a right to keep and bear arms, which means that you can support the Second Amendment and you can look good doing it. That's fpcgear.com. All right, let's move on to today's topic. Big things are happening as we've been talking about now for a couple of weeks, thanks to the Supreme Court. A lot of doors when it comes to our fundamental rights have been opened. And needless to say, the Firearms Policy Coalition is more than willing to step through them or possibly kick them down if we have to. One of those has to do with the assault weapons ban in the state of California. That's right. There is an assault weapons ban in the state of California for those of you who have had your heads buried in a rock. It was hotly contested. It's been hotly contested in the courts. And in actuality, the Firearms Policy Coalition has been successful in winning at the district court level, having that assault weapons ban struck down. Now, unfortunately, the courts have put a stay in place while it's in the appeals process. But guess what? Firearms Policy Coalition is working to get that stay removed. And to talk a little bit more about it, we have Associate Counsel with the Firearms Policy Coalition with us today, Mr. Bill Sack, ready to talk about it. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Greg.
How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Man, sun's out, guns out, bruh. Sun's out, guns out.
That's right. I know. I gotta.
That's right. Pull him up.
Join the squad. Let's go. Let's do it.
By the way, for those of you out there who are wondering, no, I am not just randomly deciding to show off my guns. I'm actually sporting an FPC. We're trying to keep waterways clear because we don't want any boating accidents where firearms might wind up at the bottom of the ocean or the bay or whatever. So, anyway, but just trying to support my FPC gear.
And I'm, trying to have my guns out too. People often confuse us when we're walking down the street together. They think we're brothers. So,
well, that's because of the blinding that comes off of your arms.
Yeah. You need polarized lenses around these things, dude.
All right, so tell us about this. Tell us about Miller and about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so Miller v. Bonta, as people will remember from last year, was a huge victory that we got at the district court level in the Southern District of California. Judge Benitez, who followers of the Ninth Circuit in California gun jurisprudence will know well, delivered an opinion out of that district court saying that the California assault weapons ban violated the Second and 14th Amendments of the Constitution. So that was a giant win, throwing out a California-based, no less, assault weapons ban. So as we expected, of course, at the time, the state of California and Craig's good friend A.G. Bonta appealed that case. And that appeal was stayed, which is just fancy legal terminology for put on hold, pending the Supreme Court case of New York State Rifle Pistol Association v. Bruen, which our attentive listeners will know was decided just a couple weeks ago.
All right, so let me ask you this. So let's say we win again and the stay is struck down. What does that mean for people who have quote unquote assault weapons in California?
Right. So the most recent update here is now that Bruen has been decided, we have moved with the court to lift the stay, saying, okay, we were waiting to see what happened in Bruen. Now we know what Bruen says. And so, as we talked about in some of the other Second Amendment cases that were brewing up in the Supreme Court, which got GVR'd or granted, vacated, and remanded. In this case, there's no need to remand the case. Because if you were to remand the case, that's saying lower court, you decided it wrong initially using the old test, and now you've got to reconsider it based on this new Bruen test. Well, here in Miller, the lower court got it right. The district court used the text as informed by history and tradition test, did all of the historical analysis that's currently required under the Bruen opinion, and said, guess what? This assault weapons ban doesn't pass muster. It's out. So to the extent that we get this stay lifted and we get the Ninth Circuit to just say that the lower court's opinion is what's in effect, then the California assault weapons ban is unconstitutional and is unenforceable.
Nice. Excellent. That is excellent. So I'm just going to throw it out there. What are some of the arguments? I mean, what do you think the chances are that they're going to come back and just kind of ignore it and say, nah, we're going to keep it in place?
Well, obviously the state's going to fight. They're going to fight for it. They're not just going to roll over. Right. So under this new test that the Bruen opinion articulates, what the government's required to do is find some sort of analogous historical regulation based on firearms features, based on even just particular types of firearms. They're going to try to say there is some historical precedent for some sort of regulation that looks like an assault weapons ban, or that they can draw some broad connection to an assault weapons ban. They've got their work cut out for them there. But they're certainly going to try. And I think the first thing that they're going to try to do is keep this case in the Ninth Circuit, as opposed to just letting the district court's decision rule. So one of the things that we asked for in the alternative in our recent motion is, look, Ninth Circuit, if you're going to keep this case and you think that it actually belongs here on appeal, you better hurry up and listen to it. And hear this case. And we've requested an expedited appeal on the grounds that California doesn't really have a merits argument anymore. And until they show that they've got any sort of argument on the merits here, they can't just waste time and stall. They've got to put up or shut up time for the state of California.
Well, right, and when you also factor in just how horrible the registration, the debacle that was the assault weapons registration process was, and how many people got left out in the cold, there are a lot of people who need immediate relief, because right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but right now, if they have something that meets the definition of an assault weapon in California, and they didn't get it registered, then they could be in trouble if found out. So those folks need immediate relief.
Certainly. I mean, if anybody who is currently in violation of the law because they own something that's on the current no-no list, they need to be watching this very closely, because any potential legal liability that they've got outstanding now could very well evaporate at the point in which that the assault weapons ban, the statute that says what they've got is a no-no, could very well be unenforceable in the near future.
All right. Anything that folks should be looking out for or paying attention to in particular that's coming up on this particular issue?
So, as we talked about in another interview, the two big assault weapons cases that are currently being looked at in light of Bruen are this case, Miller v. Bonta out of California, and also the FPC-led case challenging the Maryland assault weapons ban. That's Bianchi v. Frosch. So Bianchi is now kicked down to the lower court for reconsideration based on Bruen. And this case, Miller is now being the lower court is being, or the Ninth Circuit rather, is being moved to lift the stay. So either one of them, depending on which court acts first, could be the First Circuit Court, and neither the Ninth or the Fourth Circuit are known for being gun-friendly circuits, but could be a circuit court that's going to be responsible for establishing the first precedent that assault weapons bans are unconstitutional.
Mm. Well, I will say I, for one, am shocked to hear that the Ninth Circuit is not pro Second Amendment. Um, it is. It really is shocking. I mean, you can see the shock all over my all over my face. Well, folks, like I said, the work you guys do is amazing. How can folks follow the work that you're doing over there at FPC?
Sure. So you can go to firearmspolicy.org. That takes you to our main site where you can find everything that is FPC. You can read all about our philosophical underpinnings. You can join, you can donate. And most importantly, to my work with the legal team, you can click on the legal action tab. Or if you want to go directly to our legal team's page, you can go right to fpclegal.org or fpclaw.org. They both work. And that will take you and show you all of the cases that the FPC legal team is involved in on your behalf, including both Miller v. Bonta and Bianchi v. Frosch.
Yeah, folks, vitally important. Not just the cases that FPC's filed, but the ones where they've issued put in opinions on. Folks, it's vitally important in letters of support. It's vitally important that you support the work that's going on with FPC. One of the reasons we do these programs is because we want you to understand the work that's going on at FPC, so that you can see that when you contribute or when you buy FPC gear, you know that every dollar that you spend is going right back into the fight for a right to keep and bear arms. So that's a good one. Bill, thank you so much for coming on the program. I very much appreciate, once again, the work you do. Appreciate you taking out the time to come and talk to the folks.
Thank you for having me, Craig. Looking forward to being back soon.
All righty, sir. All right, well, that's going to be it for this episode of Coffee with Craig. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. Remember, this is a fight for our civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.